Hey folks, so I have been scrolling through various videos and I found that a lot of the ones on homosexuality are either stupid or obnoxious or essentially bullshit. So I'm going to read off a rant that I posted on Facebook a couple of months ago, and hope that maybe someone will hear it, maybe someone will like it, maybe it'll change something. More likely than not, you'll get to the end of this and decide that you hate everything I said and don't want to ever hear me again. But I figure it should at least be out there for people to have the right to say that. So here we go, almost word for word. Yep, here we go again. One of those lovely, long-winded rants that I don't really know where it's going till it gets there. Except this time it's different. This time I have a premise. The premise is homosexuality. All about it. What causes it, what it's based on, how it works, stereotypes, and myths and facts. Anything I know or can discuss. I'm not an expert and I won't pretend to be. I'm human. I'm a gay male in a place where I get called a faggot at least every other day. So if you think that gives me authority, good. If not, then hear me out as an equal. As someone worthy of your attention for the 5 to 10 minutes it takes you to watch this video. Let's start at the beginning. What causes homosexuality? Fact is, I don't know. Nobody knows. But I know an awful lot of what it's not. It's not a choice, for example. Ask any gay man, lesbian woman, genderqueer person who has been called a fairy, dyke, fag, lesbo, homo, pervert, she-male, tranny, or queen, and they'll tell you the same thing. This isn't an option for us. Ask a gay man who could be killed in the country he lives simply for being who he is. They certainly didn't choose that. Nor does the girl who gets kicked out of her parents' house when she comes out of as transgendered. In fact, were it a mere option, I doubt anyone would choose it. I wouldn't. No, you read that right. Me, the uber-flaming gay pride, be as you are, not who they want you to be guy, wouldn't choose it. It's a complication and can be a nuisance, and it wouldn't be worth it for all the animosity. If it was a choice. What is a choice to a point is how much you flaunt it. Some guys like me basically wear it on our sleeves, or more realistically, our pelvises. Others are completely unreadable unless they tell you themselves. Is there such a thing as gaydar? Yes, and it can be relatively accurate. But the only way to ever know for sure is to ask. Some guys can hide it, some can't. I'm largely in the latter. Sure, I put on a little spare flame every now and then, but in general I simply am this flaming. It's who I am, and try though I might to hide it, and I have, see Georgia for evidence, it doesn't work. I can't do it. It shines through, and it's true of many, many people. It's not genetic, or at least not entirely. It doesn't make logical sense. If this were true, the numbers of gays and lesbians would be rapidly decreasing in the last about 200 years, once people generally had the right to choose who they married and whether or not they reproduced. But we're still here, live and kicking as ever. So it logically doesn't make sense. Why would gays and lesbians reproduce if they didn't have to? And then the numbers would go down, and it'd be weeded out of the gene pool. But it hasn't happened, so it can't be purely genetic. It isn't all about nurture either. Gay people come from as many backgrounds as straight people. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Wiccan, Scientologist, atheist, agnostic, one-parent, two-parent, grandparent, adopted parent household, short, tall, ugly, pretty, smart, stupid, artistic, athletic, happy, depressed, whole, broken, safe, criminal, you name it, there's someone in that demographic who isn't straight. I don't know why gay men tend to be artistic and lesbian women tend to be masculine, but it's important to know that there are just as many, if not more, who aren't. What is homosexuality based on? Another tough question, though one I have a certain degree of personal experience with. You'll hear testimony that it's emotional, that they simply fell in love with someone of the same gender. You'll hear people say it was mental, that there was something in their mind that drove them to it. But the one that was truest of me, and I think truest in general, is it's physical, because anything else could be drowned out, and as previously noted, it's not a choice. You can't help who you're physically attracted to. We all know this. We've all had that crush on that one person that just wasn't a good idea. And just as most of you can't help but be attracted to the opposite gender, we can't help but be attracted to the same. Maybe there's an emotional or mental pull there too. But those seem more person-specific, and if you've ever been through high school, you know how long most romances last. Thus, I think it's a purely physical attraction that is then supplemented by other desires that are more specific to the person in question. How does homosexuality work? This one's easy. It works like heterosexuality, except with someone of the same gender. Le gasp! You're not implying that being gay is like being straight, are you? No, I'm telling you flat out. Being gay is the same as being straight, except you like different genitals on yours, please. Gay men don't immediately gain a sense of fashion. Lesbian women don't suddenly start wearing leather combat boots. Lesbians and gays don't go after sex any more than straights do, and their success rate is equally varied. Lesbians and gays are not any more likely to be rapists, pedophiles, or abusers than heterosexuals, and if they are, it has as much to do with them being gay as it does for the sexuality of a straight person. There's no correlation whatsoever. Thank you. Gay men don't start listening to Barbie Girl and go around carrying big pink purses, and lesbians don't suddenly start working out all the time and hating mankind. Any of those traits that someone of that sexuality has is pure coincidence, just as much as if a straight person had them. Now, the fun one. Stereotypes. Where do stereotypes come from? Is there basis in fact? Is it all bull? Is some of it bull and some of it true? Stereotypes have to come from somewhere. Humans don't naturally go, they're a cheerleader, therefore they must be stupid, out of nowhere. Somewhere along the line, there was a significant group of cheerleaders who were real boneheads, and consistently enough that the stereotype was born. The problem with stereotypes is they're basically never updated. Geeks are still geeks, jocks are still jocks, and cheerleaders are still cheerleaders. But society isn't that static. Society changes. If you have any doubt about that, go ask your parents what FTW means. Odds are, unless you've told them, they don't know. Society changed, but our perceptions never really do, so we tend to be out of date. But at some point somewhere, there was a kernel of truth in that generalization. Somewhere, at some time, there was a group of loud gay men who were very effeminate, and loud lesbian women who were very masculine. And some of us still are. I'm still a very girly guy, and a lesbian friend of mine is still a very masculine woman. But not all of us, just like not all jocks are dumb and not all Asians are brilliant. There's variety. Some are, some aren't. Those of us that are, though, tend to be the loudest about it, and that helps the stereotype keep going. Because we show that there's some truth to it. And naturally, some of the stereotype is true and some of it is false. Most gay guys I know are friends with more girls than guys, and vice versa for lesbian women. On the other hand, very few gay guys I know wear nail polish and keep up with fashion, and very few lesbian women I know wear metal chains and drive a Harley. As always, some do, some don't. But the one thing to take away from this bit is to take facts as they come. There are gay guys that play football and lesbians who dance ballet, and some of them are utterly fantastic. So never say, you can't do that, you're gay, because it has as little bearing on us as being straight has on you. And now for a little fact and fiction. Most of this has already been covered, so this won't be too long. Gays did not start AIDS. They did not spread it to the straight community, and it's not God's vengeance against gays. It's known to have its origins in Africa, and the current largest population growth of AIDS is in straight African American females. There is no cure for homosexuality. It is not a disease, and it is not a psychological condition. It is not a social difficulty, and it can't be cured. Homosexuality has no relation to past sexual experience. Straight, gay, desired, rape, older, younger, no bearing. Being gay is not the work of the devil or evil spirits. It is not God's curse upon mankind, and as far as I'm concerned, God doesn't frown on it. Why would he make someone he hates? There's no reason for it whatsoever. And it isn't a choice, so you don't have that excuse. Exorcisms and blessings don't work against it, so it's clearly not the work of the devil. Gays do tend to live a more promiscuous lifestyle because they can't get married. As far as the law is concerned, there are no gay couples outside of a few states. That makes it easier to flit from one person to the next in semi-serious relationships. So yeah, I would assume there's a little more sex because it isn't with one person the rest of your life when you're 25 in quite the same way as it is with straight relationships. By the same token, gays may be together their entire life as a couple or go from one guy or girl to the next every 2 weeks, the same as straights. One final note to this already dismally long one. Words hurt. It hurts most of us to hear "that's so gay," "fucking faggot," "dyke," or "tranny." In the same way it hurts straight people or anyone to hear "bitch," "loser," "idiot," and "jackass." So, the last and most important thing I want to say here is say what you mean and mean what you say. Because someday you might realize you just said "that's so gay" to someone who is. Thank you.